What's up? This is Johnny Pace with FloTrack here with Olympian Brandon Miller, who this summer competed in the 2024 Paris Olympics in the 800 meters. He's a member of the Brooks Beast and a good friend of mine. So, Brandon, thanks for being here. So good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, brother. How you been?
So good. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I think it's been about a week since we were out in Albuquerque.
I
Uh,
know, I know.
yeah, how'd you feel about your season opener at the MLK Invite?
I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I knew I was in some good shape, and I knew that I would be able to go out there and run something pretty fast. I mean, obviously the goal was 147.3, which is the qualifier for indoor USA's. But back in the back of my mind, I kind of knew that 145 was in the picture, and I wanted to open up like the elite guys do, put down something pretty fast. But felt great. I felt smooth, felt in control, and yeah, it's something to build off of. So
Yeah. So right now it's currently Monday, and at the end of the week we have the big one, Millrose Games.
yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about what you're hoping to do there. Tell me where your head's at with that. Especially going off, the MLK invite last week, and where your training's at.
Yeah, I think, coming off of last year, when I was, able to run that fast 600, the world record kind of stuck in my mind for a while
Yeah,
after that run. So this year it's about, going out there competing. And I think it's within reach. I think that world record is something that um, I could get, and especially with the guys in the race, three other amazing competitors. So for me, it's not only trying to get the world record, but also, most importantly, the win. So
right. About competing. I think it's cool. We've kind of followed your journey for a while, and I want to talk a little bit more about that. But it seems like when you set goals, eventually you find a way to get there. And so, how important is it just saying that out loud, saying you're thinking about wanting a world record, thinking about, being one of the best in the world? How important is that visualization and speaking that into existence almost?
man, I think it's so important. I think you have to see it, before it becomes a reality. I think you have to speak it before it becomes a reality, and I also believe in operating in that before it becomes a reality as well. I don't think somebody becomes a champion, when they kind of like line up at the line and win that one race. I think it's a year of preparation, years and years of preparation, believing that they can become a champion. That
Right.
really leads to being at the top of the mountain. So for me, it's something that my parents always taught me, kind of just that confidence and to speak it, and kind of, put the effort behind it and kind of let God do the rest. So
Yeah. I think something very special about you is that that's not arrogance, really. You are so humble and you just take care of work. But I think it's also important you have to be able to be confident
yeah.
in your abilities.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. I like to tell people, like, as a athlete in general, no matter if you're an amateur in college or a professional athlete, your confidence has to be the last thing to go. I think you can be as fit as you want to be, you could be as fast as you want to be, but if you don't have the confidence when you're stepping onto that line, it's all for naught, to be completely honest with you. So your confidence is, I think the biggest thing is, what do you find your confidence in? What do is it something that's not who you are,
Yeah.
or is it something that's rooted and grounded in who you are as an individual? I think that's where the difference comes in. That's where you can start to find a healthy sense of confidence, and a healthy sense of success comes from that as well.
Well, and surely results and outcomes help contribute to that. And you've had a lot of great results and outcomes, I think, especially in the last year. Can you kind of talk to me how you've grown, like since the Olympics, making that team, and then in the 6 months or so since then, how you evolved as an athlete?
Yeah, yeah. I think my biggest thing is, okay, like, where do we go from here? What's this next step? And I think as an athlete, it's all about growing. And you never want to get complacent within your progression as an athlete. So for me, it's okay. Like, what's my next thing?
Yeah,
My next thing is to be a national champion. And I know, like, there's some great guys out there. We got like the Bryces and the Hobbs And I mean, Josh Hoey's coming crazy right now. Will Sumner's, and Isaiah and Jawit and Harris. Like as a competitor, I know that those are some amazing guys that are in the picture. But for me, it's I want to be a national champion,
Yeah,
and I'm coming for it. I'm coming for it, and I'm hungry for it, and I'm doing everything in my power to get it. So,
yeah,
um, that was the biggest thing in my mind. It was an Olympic team. Now I want to be a national champion.
yeah. Well,
And now I want a medal. And it's kind of taking those next steps and those gradual steps to, of course, accomplish the biggest goal of them all is a gold medal in the World Championships or the Olympic stage. So that's kind of where my head is at right now. I'm just putting my head down. I'm working, and that's what we gonna do. So
yeah, man. I love to hear that. And being healthy, I think last year there's a couple of things. It was your kind of rookie year with the Brooks Beasts,
yeah,
so there's always going to be those adjustments. I know you had a bit of an injury that you dealt with kind of mid indoor, so now you have the experience. You're running healthy. What this year with your training and your preparations, how have you kind of leveled up with those new factors in place?
yeah. I think one, the off season was a lot different this year than it was ever before. I think I was used to taking a couple months off as far as the off season, kind of shortened down a little bit before I got down back to like easy running and stuff like that. So I think with that, the strength was able to compound, and I was able to build off the strength that I had last year. And I think that's just the plan that Danny has had in place for me. Coming into last year was to slowly integrate me into the system,
Right.
while keeping my strengths. And then this year is about building on top of that. And I felt it in the training, and I felt it, in my performances, and I've been able to just get another year of experience under my belt. Experience is the best teacher, and I've been able, one thing that Danny and Julian and Dr. Kyle and just the whole circle that Brooks really preaches is just consistency,
Yep.
and I've been really, really consistent through the fall. And staying healthy is the biggest thing, so for me, just making sure do what I do what I can do to stay healthy, and kind of let the results speak for themselves. So
Yeah. You're fortunate to be in the position that you have such a special group of people surrounding you. Yes, your staff and also your teammates. I think that's not to be understated. The value of having a big team that's as close as you are. Can you
mm.
speak a little bit more about your relationship with the team and also some other things that maybe you've learned from being on the Beasts?
Yeah, man, like the team, like we you know when I was getting recruited here, one of the biggest selling points that they was telling me is that the team was really like a family. And it's one thing to say, it's another thing to actually be here and experience it. My teammates are truly my best friends. Um and I think everybody, with you being so close, and it being such a good environment, it makes you, it's a great environment to go to work in, and I think we all feed off of each other. And I think we have some great things coming from everybody on the team this year. So
Yeah, that shared momentum's got to be cool.
yeah,
Um, I thought it was fun last week when I was in town that after the meet, the whole team got together. I went over to Josh's house
yeah,
and
yeah.
had pizza night. Everybody was making their own pizzas, and
Yeah,
I was like, man, how lucky this
yeah.
group is to have each other and just to be able to get together like in moments like that.
Now 100%. It's you know, um when it comes to your teammates, their victories are my victories, and because you are so close, when one of your teammates doesn't do as well as that he or she wants to do, that hurts you as well.
Yeah,
Um, so that I think that's what makes it so special, is you not only want it for yourself, but you want it for your teammate as well, because you see the work that they put in. So for me, I'm just we all have a goal of we have a goal of being the best team in the world, and I'm just trying to do my part to make that dream a reality for the squad. So
yeah.
um
Well, it's really cool seeing you, being such a face of the brand and the team. It's a huge achievement to become an Olympian and to accomplish what you did. Like, what are some things aside from what you've done, on the headline, kind of what are special things that you think you're bringing to that team dynamic and to getting everybody to become better athletes?
Well, for me, I just try to be the best person that I can be. I think the Lord has blessed me with some high energy. So I like to smile. I like to, make people's day, make them feel better if they're going through something. And I think I can spit some words of knowledge at some points too. I've only been here 23 years, but I've lived in those 23 years. So um, for me, it's just about supporting my teammates. Because I know when I support them and they do well, that they're happy, and that's a collective gain for the whole team in general. And when we talk about goals, and again, I'll bring it back to being the best team in the world, being on the, when we talk about like the legendary teams in track and field, we want to be a part of that conversation. And I think everybody being in their best headspace is vital for that. So for me, it's just about trying to support my teammates in a way and bringing everything that I can bring so my teammates can operate in the calling that God has for them. So
Well, I mean, I got to say, at least from my perspective, I've lost count of how many times I've joined you guys for practices, but pretty much get 100% of the time, whenever I see you, you're brightening everybody's day up. You're making everybody feel better. I certainly appreciate that. I know your teammates do as well. And
Thank you.
running is high pressure, and you deal with your own challenges, and there's all these
Yeah.
uncertainties. But I just commend you and appreciate you for bringing that energy, because I think it does lift everybody up, and um, it is something very special about you.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of time spent with you, I know the FloTrack team had come out and joined you back, I think, in November at the start of the season,
Yeah.
and followed team camp and shared your story. And I just wanted to, now that you've had a chance to see it, now that folks have gotten a chance to see it, I'd be curious to know like what you thought about it, um, and how you think it turned out, and kind of maybe any updates or things that we didn't quite capture that you felt would be cool to share on top of that.
Yeah, I mean it was amazing.
Yeah,
I thought it was very well put together. Um, I enjoyed it, and I also like the little snippets that was posted on Instagram and stuff like that. So it was dope. I really enjoyed it, and I really thank you and the rest of the FlowTrack family for putting something together like that for me. So that was amazing. Um, I I think just I've just been grinding, I just been continuing to work, and I think you know right before that, I had a little turkey trot, in a 5K, and then I came out and did club cross in a 10K, which sucked. It was very,
yeah,
very long. But I see it starting to pay a little bit of dividends in the training and stuff like that. So, not much updates as far as that. I mean, it's just the season going on as usual, and hopefully we got some big updates here at the end of this week
yeah.
and at USA's, not only indoors but outdoors as well. So,
Well, there's a couple of things from that, but yeah, I think you're right. I think when we filmed with you, this winter season is kind of about building, and then it really starts to pick up quite a bit,
yeah.
starting about now. All the way through August, September. But and you can't understate like kind of the value of that base building phase.
Yeah,
It's not most flashy per se, but it's critical, I think.
it's
Um,
a foundation, man. You don't really see it, but the whole house is built on it.
yeah,
So if the better your foundation, hopefully, the better your season goes. So
yeah. Well, and so for somebody with such a speedy background and history, I think it was cool in the piece. And then, yeah, what you mentioned with cross, like, not being afraid of the longer distances. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and specifically kind of how cross and the 5K went, and then how you think that's contributing to becoming a better athlete?
yeah, I think it's necessary. I think it's funny because when I was a kid, my mom used to train me more as like an 815 type of guy that could just happen to come down and run a good 400. And I think junior year of high school I got hurt, and then senior year of high school was COVID, and for 2 years, and then being out in LA, I wasn't really able to hit on the strength work um as much as I probably should have. But those 3 years at A&M and Bobby, I think, looking back on it, really is really important for the success that I was able to have last year, and also the success, Lord willing, that we'll have going into the future, because I think it helped my flat speed, it helped my wheels, and being at A&M, having to run all those 4x4s, and being with Bobby, my flat speed was incredible. And then just being able to add the strength on top of that, I think has made me a more complete runner.
Yeah.
And I think when you talk about like just a training plan, like a 6 to 8 year training plan, I think for me it's all coming together at this point. Um, but I think it's super important. I think my body has been adjusting to it very well, just because that's the type of work I used to do as a kid.
Yeah.
And again, I think the biggest thing is being able to be consistent within the workout, stay within the zones that you need to stay in, and just consistently put that work in day after day after day after day after day. And
Yep.
once you get your head wrapped around that, that's when good things start to happen.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about, again, like I've been able to kind of see you on the road a bit as well, representing Brooks and speaking to fans, speaking to the company, on multiple occasions. What has that experience been like? Maybe it's a newer thing, being a spokesperson for Brooks and touring around.
No, it's been amazing. It's been amazing because the way I see it is I'm not only representing myself, but I'm representing the brand as well. So I like to bring my best self to every interview, every, speaking engagement, and things like that. But I don't try to be anything that I'm not. I think who I am is who God has called me to be, and I'm gonna reach the audience that He has called me to reach. So for me, I just been, really, really enjoying the platform, and it makes me want to win more, so I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have a good feeling about things, and yeah, sure, I'm excited for you to get to New York. I'm trying to recall. Have you raced Millrose before?
this first time at the Armory, first time in New York, and I've
Wow.
always seen it on TV, but I've never been in the stadium and the arena.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
looking
that's
forward to being one of the men in the arena. So
yes, that's cool. I didn't realize that was your first time in New York as well. So, what? Tell me what. Obviously, the race is going to be Saturday.
yeah,
Um, what's the rest of the weekend look like for you?
yeah. So I traveled there on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I think it's really just preparing, tapering off a little bit for the 600. um just getting my mind right, getting my mind right to go out there and give it my all. And I know the record's within reach, and I think for me it's just about making sure I execute all the little things, and I'm gonna have some amazing guys. Any one of those guys could win the race, but I want to make sure that it's me. So for me it's just continue to work and prepare physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally to go out there and do something great. So
Well, I'm excited for you. And how about your teammates, Henry and Josh? How are they
yeah.
looking? I think they're both going to be running the mile.
I think the boys are ready to roll. I think they're war ready. I'm very excited to see both of them go out there and compete with the best of the best. I mean, um, I think for Josh, I think it's for him. It's something where he's been here before. He's been in these big races before, and for him it's kind of business as usual, I think.
Yeah.
But it shows a testament to how much of a warrior that dude truly is.
Yeah.
And I think with Henry being on the stage, and I think for him it's a chance to really take it in and really make a name for himself on the stage, and not only go out there and run for the people who support him, but run for himself,
Yeah.
and go out there and show, not only prove people wrong, but to prove himself right. So I'm excited for both of them. I'm ready to go see him. I'm not sure. The mile is the last race, I'm sure, so I'll
Yeah.
be able to watch him and cheer him on, and it's gonna be a good time. So
That's got to be nice too, especially if it's your first time. It's a lot. New York's a lot. The Armory's a
yeah.
lot. Millrose Games is a lot, but coming in with teammates that have been there many times can
Yeah.
maybe alleviate some of that new aspect and let you just focus on doing what you do best.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And again, like when you it's going in there alone is one thing, but going in there with brothers is a whole nother thing. You know, you're able to, talk to each other before the race and, make sure the other person is good and ready to go. And it's exciting. It's very exciting. So
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to cheer for you guys. I'll be heading down there in a couple days time to
perfect.
root
Thank you,
on you.
brother.
Yeah, and then I think 2 or 3 weeks after we'll be coming back to New York for U.S. Indoor Champs. So
Yeah.
you'll become
Yeah.
very familiar with New York City.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh, it's great. I'm excited for that as well. And I think that's that's the big goal. Get on that team and
Yeah,
go take care of business in Beijing. But there's a lot of really good guys, but I'm also a really good guy. So, um, it's exciting. I'm excited. And it's gonna be. I'm ready. I'm just ready to go to war. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm just itching to go to war, and it's gonna be fun.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Well, Brandon, I really appreciate you taking a few moments to connect, and yeah, we'll see you in New York real soon.
Perfect. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you.